Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive into something kind of crazy. It's where like cutting edge tech meets, old-fashioned trickery. We're talking about how AI is being used for financial fraud. And get this, the FBI is so concerned about this that their Internet Crime Complaint Center just issued a special warning. It was just on December 3rd, 2024. So we're going to break down their report today and hopefully give you the knowledge you need to stay ahead of these digital con artists.
It really is fascinating, how criminals are weaponizing this incredibly powerful technology. Generative AI, in a nutshell, it uses neural networks trained on massive data sets to create new content. I guess you could think of it as a sophisticated pattern matching system that learns to mimic human creativity. And in this case,
Yeah.
that creativity is being used to deceive.
Okay, I think I get the concept of AI creating content, but mimic human creativity. That sounds pretty intense. Like, how are criminals actually using it to scam people?
Well, the FBI has categorized the types of AI-generated content being used in scams. There's text, images, audio, and videos, and each category has some pretty alarming examples. Let's start with text. Think about those romance scams you've probably heard about. Now imagine a scammer using AI to create hundreds, even thousands, of fake social media profiles, each with, unique backstories and personalities. Suddenly, they can target way more people with personalized messages, and they seem so genuine, too.
Wow, it's like having an army of digital catfish, all
Yeah.
working to build these fake relationships.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
So what about images? Are we talking about things like photoshopped pictures, or is this something else?
Oh, it goes way beyond simple photoshopping. The FBI report mentions fake driver's licenses, even celebrity endorsements for bogus products. The technology is so advanced that these images can look incredibly real. Imagine seeing a picture of your favorite celebrity endorsing a certain cryptocurrency. You might be more inclined to invest, right? But what if that image is completely fabricated? I've seen some of those AI-generated images floating around online, and something always feels a little off, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Is there anything specific we should be looking for?
Absolutely. The FBI recommends playing a little game of spot the imperfections. AI-generated content often has glitches, things that our human eyes can pick up on. Look for things like distorted hands or feet, wonky eyes, unrealistic shadows, anything that seems a bit off. Does the lighting feel strange? Are the proportions a bit weird? Trust your gut instinct. It can be a powerful tool.
So we're entering a world where seeing is no longer believing. This is where it gets really interesting
Yeah.
and unsettling. Tell us about the audio. AI-generated voices.
This is one of the most chilling applications, honestly. The report highlights cases where scammers use AI to mimic a loved one's voice. They might call pretending to be your child in a crisis situation. Desperate for money. Think about how emotionally charged that moment would be. You'd likely be, well, less cautious than usual.
Oh, wow. Voice cloning. That's straight out of a sci-fi movie. But seriously, how can we protect ourselves from that? It seems terrifying.
While AI voice cloning is getting better, it often lacks the subtle inflections, pauses, and the emotional range of a real human voice. Listen closely to the nuances of their speech.
So it's about listening for those tiny, almost subconscious cues that give away a real conversation.
Precisely. It's those subtle things, a slight tremor in the voice, a hesitation before answering, the way a person breathes. Those are hard for AI to replicate perfectly.
So are these manipulated videos what they call deepfakes? I keep hearing that term. I'm not really sure what it means.
Yes, deepfake generally refers to videos where someone's face or voice has been digitally altered to make it appear as if they are saying or doing something they never actually did. One example the FBI highlights is the creation of live video chats with fake authority figures. It could be a scammer posing as a bank executive, a government official, or even a law enforcement officer. Imagine receiving a video call from someone who looks and sounds exactly like your bank manager. You'd probably be more inclined to trust them, right?
Absolutely. It's all about building that false sense of trust. And the FBI is saying, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Precisely. As AI technology evolves, criminals are finding new and innovative ways to exploit it, for their own gain. This is a constantly shifting landscape, which is why staying informed is so crucial.
This is a lot to take in. It feels like we're playing a whole new game here with a whole new set of rules.
You're exactly right. But just like any game, there are strategies you can learn, to protect yourself and win.
I think everyone listening is ready to learn those strategies. So let's dive into those in part two.
So I bet you're wondering how to actually protect yourself in this crazy world where we can't always trust our own eyes and ears. Fortunately, the FBI has provided some practical tips to help you become more AI savvy, scam detective.
Okay, let's hear them. What's our first line of defense?
One simple yet effective strategy is to establish a secret word or phrase with your family and close friends. If someone contacts you claiming to be a loved one in trouble, you just ask them for the secret word. If they don't know it, you know it's a scam.
That's a clever idea. Like a secret handshake for the digital age. That's a good example of a secret word or phrase. Something memorable.
Well, it needs to be something unique to your circle and something you wouldn't casually share online. How about fluffy unicorn rainbow sprinkles? It's silly, but it's memorable.
I love it. It's so out there that no AI could predict it. Okay, so what's our next move in this game of scam detection?
Remember how we talked about those imperfections in AI-generated content? That's your next clue. The FBI recommends scrutinizing images and videos for those subtle glitches. You can even turn it into a game. Challenge yourself to spot the flaws. Does the lighting seem off? Are the proportions a bit strange? Does anything just feel off? Trust your gut instinct. It can be a powerful tool here.
That secret word thing is clever. But wouldn't a really sophisticated scammer try to find ways around that?
Yeah.
Like, how do we stay one step ahead?
You are absolutely right to be thinking that way. That's why it's important to layer your defenses. The secret word is a great first step. But you can make it even stronger by having different secret words for different groups. One for family, one for close friends, and so on. This makes it even harder for scammers to exploit. And on top of that, remember those telltale signs we talked about?
Okay, so we've covered secret words and visual clues. What about those cloned voices? How can we tell if we're talking to a real person or an AI imposter?
Listen closely to the nuances of their speech. While AI voice cloning is getting better, it often lacks the subtle inflections, pauses, and the emotional range of a real human voice.
So it's about listening for those tiny, almost subconscious cues that give away a real conversation.
Precisely. It's those subtle things. A slight tremor in the voice, a hesitation before answering, the way a person breathes. Those are hard for AI to replicate perfectly.
Okay, so far we've got secret words, visual inspections, and listening closely for vocal cues. What other tips does the FBI have up its sleeve?
The report emphasizes the importance of protecting your digital footprint. The more information you share online, photos, videos, voice recordings, the easier it is for scammers to use AI to create convincing fakes.
So we need to be more mindful of our privacy settings and what we post online.
Absolutely. Limit the information you share publicly, especially anything that could be used to create a deepfake or to impersonate you.
Good point. It's a reminder that everything we put online can potentially be used against us.
And of course, always verify identities before sharing any sensitive information. Don't trust caller ID. It's easily spoofed. If someone claims to be from your bank or a government agency, hang up and call back using the official contact information listed on their website.
That's the golden rule of online safety, right? Never share personal information unless you are absolutely sure who you are dealing with.
Exactly. And no matter how convincing a request may seem, never send money to strangers, especially if they pressure you to act quickly, or use unconventional payment methods like gift cards or cryptocurrency.
Right, if it feels fishy, it probably is. Trust your instincts.
Exactly. And if, despite all these precautions, you think you have fallen victim to an AI-powered scam, don't panic.
What should we do? It feels overwhelming to think about. I mean, it does feel like we've opened Pandora's box here. Is there any hope if we do get scanned?
Absolutely there is. The FBI wants you to know there's help available. First and foremost, you need to report the incident to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. It's also known as IC3. Their website is www.ic3.gov.
So even if we're not 100% sure it was a scam, like maybe it was just something weird, it's still better to file a report.
Exactly. It's always better to err on the side of caution. And when you file that report, the more detail you can provide, the better. Think names, phone numbers, email addresses, anything that identifies the people involved.
Okay, so like if they were pretending to be from a specific bank or company, we'd want to make sure to include all of that, right?
Yes. And if any money was exchanged, make sure to include all the transaction details too. Dates, amounts, account numbers, even cryptocurrency addresses if those were used.
It sounds like the IC3 really wants to get a very clear picture of exactly what happened during the scam.
They do, and for good reason. The more information they have, the better equipped they are to investigate and hopefully track down these criminals.
All right, so to sum all this up, AI is obviously an incredible tool, but like any tool, it can be used for good or for evil. And unfortunately, right now, we're seeing a surge in criminals using it to create these, well, incredibly convincing scams.
You're right. That's the bad news. The good news is we can protect ourselves by being smart and by, following the advice we've talked about today.
You know what? Earlier, you said this was like learning the rules of a new game.
Mm,
I'm starting to feel like we can actually win this game.
yeah,
Become those AI-savvy scam detectives.
that's the spirit. And here's one final thing I want you to consider. As AI technology continues to evolve at this crazy pace, what new challenges and opportunities will it create, both for scammers and for the people trying to stop them?
Wow, that's a great question. It feels like we're in this constant race,
Yeah.
whereas as the good guys develop new defenses, the bad guys are already finding ways to break through them. It's both exciting and a little bit scary to think about what the future holds. But one thing's for sure, by working together and staying informed, like we're doing right now, we can outsmart these digital con artists.
I couldn't agree more. We all have a role to play in this ever-changing landscape.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening, stay vigilant, stay curious, and keep those scam detecting skills sharp. And if you have any thoughts or questions about today's deep dive, connect with us on social media. You can find us wherever you are in the virtual world. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.